Well, it's my favourite time of the week, to be honest. It's bolting in with these legends. All thanks to Palmer Bet. Spring Racing Carnival. It is on in earnest. Caulfield Cup, Everest weekend. And Shane Anderson, as we say good evening, you're actually in Spain this week, mate. You are an absolute jet setter.
Yeah, good to be with you, Matty and Adam, once again. Yep, in south of Spain at the moment, which is normally one of the most beautiful parts of the world. This week, of course, because I've arrived, rain's been coming in sideways, temperatures are below average. So my run of success in shifting global weather patterns continues, but I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to be with you both.
It's fantastic to see you, mate. It's great to see this man too, who's just shifted into a brand new house as well. Ads in Las Vegas. You are living the dream, legend.
Look, I'm trying. I'm certainly not traveling as much as Shane, but it's been absolute chaos moving in. So it's been good actually just sitting down, looking at some horse racing and getting away from unpacking boxes. It's been a nice little distraction.
Hey, listen, let's talk about a lot of talk last weekend about the Caulfield track. I want to get your thoughts, Shano. We'll start with you.
Yeah, Matty, first of all, when you said let's talk about Caulfield last week, I think I've spent 4 days in therapy talking about Caulfield last week. It wasn't good for me last week. I think I got every race wrong. But look, I don't subscribe too much around the track being problematic. I think there were a lot of really good discussions coming through different forms of media around tempo impacting races last week, particularly with the track racing as what appeared to be a genuine good three. But a lot of the uh, market leaders, well-established runners in the market, kind of didn't fire to the levels that we thought. A big talking point, probably broadsiding in the Caulfield Guineas, and no doubt we'll talk a little bit more around that. But I don't look at it as I'm not in the camp of sitting there saying Caulfield was really negatively biased in a particular way. I think good threes, firm racing can often see horses up on speed be traditionally the ones to beat anyway. So that's kind of my view. But I know there's a few others out there.
Ads, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, look, I'm with Shane actually. I sat there and sort of looked at Twitter and was kind of surprised by how much people were having a go at it. I think a lot of people were just talking through their pocket. I didn't have a good day either, but I sort of did the same as Shane. I expected it to be like that. Maybe it was a little bit more on speed than I thought, but I didn't think it was the be or end all that all my bets lost because of the track pattern. I think they lost because
Yeah.
they weren't good enough. Simple as that. So I left the meeting sort of going, meh, disappointing day. Maybe it was a little bit on speed, but I thought the huff and the puff was a little bit over top after last weekend.
I'm with you, boys. Yeah, you got to take the good with the bad, and you just got to. I think it is all tempo related at times, and we'll get to the ride of Antino a little bit later on. It was absolutely unbelievable from Blake Ship. But let's talk about the Caulfield Guineas. Private Life, bit of an upset at a big price. Broadsiding for mine. I still reckon it was a sensational run. You know, like it probably, if that pattern that we just discussed, was there. And I've seen some work during the week too. Jamie Carr, very, very bullish. This horse will obviously continue on head to a Cox Plate. And fair dinkum, I reckon he gave absolutely everything ads, didn't he?
Yeah, look, I didn't have any. I'm going to go past the winner. Good win, happy with that. But I think broadsiding, you said, is a story and the horse we're looking at for the future as well. Again, I tipped it. I had it as my best bet. I thought it was the best of the weekend. It got beaten. I left going brilliant run. I was happy with it. I thought James McDonald probably wished he was in the position he was. I think that was probably more than the track pattern. But when the horse got out and flashed home late for mine, I just went tick, tick, tick. Let's go to a Cox Plate. That's a great run. And then obviously the work I do here in America, broadcasting over to Australia, we heard the post race from the trainer and some of the connections as well. When they let the dust settle, they said the same. They said, I don't think anyone's going to be annoyed about that. If not, it's just heighten the credentials. So look, again, disappointing that you lose your bet on the day and the short price and how confident we all were. But for mine, racing's that. It's not always that straightforward. That's why you go around, and they didn't get the run they would have wanted, but it was the run of the race for mine.
And all kudos to the winner too, Shane. Private Life, great day, great victory, great ride there as well.
Yeah, well, it's good performance by the winner. He's a Guineas winner, but I'm still very much focused on broadsiding as the main narrative out of the race, for want of a better term. I think the telling factor was for him was around the home turn, sort of that period from around the 500 metre mark to the 300 metre mark as he's cornering. His momentum just wasn't there. He wasn't picking up the way that we kind of were expecting him to. But once he straightened up and flattened out, he really picked up and lifted and was charging to the line late. So it gives every indication as he progresses to the Cox Plate third up, he's going to be a real significant force. If anything, his price will be slightly more inflated because he's been rolled in the Caulfield Guineas. And we've seen horses come through a Caulfield Guineas defeat in the past and go on and be really effective because he is, without a doubt, a legitimate star 3-year-old, and they're the ones that generally run well in a Caulfield Guineas. I think it'll be interesting as we talk about the Everest a little bit later on today's show, and just getting a gauge on the 3-year-olds up against the older horses. Because, we've talked numerous times, both yourself and Adam are huge fans of broadsiding Adam I, and he is the number one seed of the 3-year-old division. But seeing where sort of Stormboy comes out against the older horses in the Everest, it'll give us a lot more context around the depth and the talent of that 3-year-old division. So I think some important factors to come, but looking forward to seeing what Broadsider can do in a couple of weeks at the Valley.
Well, what about the clash and the might and power? Of course, Denied Knowledge was too good for our one of our faves, Mr. Brightside. It's just the question is always going to be there, isn't it? Just that strong 2,000 metres for Mr. Brightside. He looked to have every possible, didn't he?
Yeah, I think it's hysterical, the record that Adam and I have whenever we tip Mr. Brightside. Again, I tipped him last week. And as I said, going into the show, he'll probably lose because I'm on him, and that was an impact. Also, a good shout out to you, Matty, though, with Deny Knowledge, who was your value bet in the Might and Power. It was a really terrific on pace, front running performance, and now backs up in the Caulfield Cup. But I don't know, Mr. Brightside, he was there to win the race, just wasn't good enough on the day. And maybe it is the fact that at 2,000 metres, he just gets stretched that little bit out of his comfort zone, Matty, because he's a legitimate star horse, particularly up to 1,600 metres. But yeah, I thought the winner was the best run in the race last week. It was a really, really strong performance.
And he'll push on to a Cox Plate, Mr. Brightside, by the looks ads.
Yeah, look, good shout out as well, as Shane said, for Deny Knowledge there. But Matty, I sat there I was more looking at myself going gutless. I mean, how many excuses did I go? Mr. Bright said, hasn't won at the distance, can't do this, doesn't do this, but I'm still going to put in my best bet. And what happened is exactly what we kind of thought may happen. We just went, it's the best horse in the race, we'll play it safe. But there were so many question marks, and I think that remains. It's one of the best milers we have in the country, but the 10 furlongs just doesn't suit. And look, that Cox Plate run was obviously very good that year, almost won it, and that stays in the back of our head too. But when you look at the bigger picture and the amount of runs, it's just not a 10 furlong horse. It's as simple as that. He's a miler. That's his best trip, and that's what he does best. And moving forward, I won't be getting teased again, and I might have a little bit more kahunas to actually put the bet down when we should.
I love it, mate. Hey, let's get to the Toorak. An unbelievable ride. When I was watching this live, I was blown away. And this bloke is absolutely in career best form at the moment, Blake Shin. That was as good as you'll see. And I wish, to be honest, boys, and I'll start with you, Shane, I wish that more jockeys had the confidence to do this and to try things and to take things on like this on a day where they thought, you know what, I don't want to get too far back. I don't want to get stuck too far back. And it was great to watch for mine, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was almost a hark back to the old days before we had, published speed maps. That's the way I kind of look at it.
Yeah.
I think, a lot of races these days, every steward in the industry has speed maps attached to each race. Every jockey manager, every trainer has speed maps attached to each race, and quite often they're all similar scenarios, and quite often we see races run in a particular way. So, and I remember as a kid when I was falling in love with racing rides like that, daring, dashing rides like that were fairly common, but we just don't see it anymore. And I just thought it was a tactical masterclass by Blake Shin, who really has confirmed himself. I mean, for 20 odd years, he's been a star rider, but in probably the last 3, 4, 5 years, he's just gone to this whole new level with maturity and strength and fitness. And he's a brilliant tactician. That was sensational, and it was a dominant win by a very good horse, Antino, who was coming through that sort of protogeny Mr. Brightside form back to the handicap. He was fantastic. Another Will, flatly disappointing to mine after setting the pace and weakening out over the concluding stages. I was pretty confident about him going into the race, so I walked away disappointed. But I know Adam's a huge fan of the ride of Blake Shin, so I'm really keen to get your views. But to me, it was one of the best rides we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I agree, Shane. And I think I put my jockey manager hat on with this. And I think the problem is with a lot of the jockeys too, and I'll go to their defense and then give the credit, is that, I mean, we see how much these jockeys get punished on social media. We've talked about Craig Williams a lot, even in this podcast, if they do something. I think there's only a couple jockeys in each state that can do it. And you can go through them. I mean, even in Victoria, I think it's a Blake Shin, I think it's a Mark Zahra. In Adelaide, it's a Todd Panel and maybe a a Jason Holder in Perth. It's a Clint Johnson Porter and a William Pike. There's only a few that can do it. If anyone else tries it and it goes wrong, you're in big trouble. You're going to get slaughtered. You're going to be on the worst ride of the week. You're going to be getting copying it. So there's probably only 2 or 3 that can do it. And Blake Shin is one of them. So when you see them pull it off in a big race like that, outsmart the other jockeys, catch them napping, they all look at the speed map. They know how it's going to be done. And he goes, hang on, no one's going to change this. I can do it. I just sit there and applauding it. As I said, I don't think all of them can do it, but the ones that do, when they do pull it off, Nashville Wheeler does it a few times when he goes to the outside fence at Randwick. They're the types that can do it. And when they do, you just sit back and you just applaud and you go, that's why, you're in that position and that's why you've got the opportunities that you can. So for mine, it was one of my favourite rides I've seen probably since the Pride of Jenny. Last time we were talking about when Declan Bates took off and was able to just keep running in front. I love when they do the daring tactics like that, and full credit to him and well done to Antino.
Yeah, great stuff. I really loved it, and he's going sensation. He's put the market there. He said he wants to ride 200 winners. He's keeping us updated with the tally. He's having a real crack, and he's travelling everywhere. So good on him. And he is, as I said, in career best form at the moment. Hey, let's have a look at the features. We've got 5 to talk about. Everest Caulfield Cup, the Kosciuszko. We've got what else have we got? The King Charles Stakes. We've got the Silver Eagle. There's so much to talk about. We're going to start with the Everest. An intriguing race. It always is. It's only young, but we're starting to really get into this Everest for mine. And the Palmerbet market has Jolly Star as our favourite at $6. I Wish I Win at $6.50. Growing Empire, $7.50. Traffic Ward at $7.50. Bella Nipotina at $9.50. Sunshine in Paris at $10. Steffi Magnetica at $13. Stormboy $13. Giga Kick $14. I Am Me $15. Private Eye $21. And Lady of Camelot, $41. I'm going to start with you, Ads. Cracking edition, wide open race. Hard to stack all the form lines up, isn't it? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, it's the race of the weekend, no doubt about that. I think, the Caulfield Cup, we'll talk about it a little bit later. I think it's a little bit weaker than we've seen in recent years, but this is one of the best editions of the Everest we're going to see. And so many good horses going around at big prices. Again, I'm intrigued, like Shane said, to see how some of the younger horses go as well. But for mine, in this race, I just think when you get to a grand final like this, you back in the horses that are fit, that have proven themselves on the big stage. And for mine, that'll make my best bet. I Wish I Win. We know my thoughts on this horse in recent years and even in this race as well. I think the first 2 runs have been super this preparation. Winner third up last prep. I like that this horse is drawn out wide. I was just praying it was not inside the first 3 barriers. So the gate suits for mine. Speed will suit as well. I think you just see tick, tick, tick. And for mine, I think I Wish I Win is clearly the horse to beat in the race. My value bet, there's no way I'm not putting her in my tips. Bella Nipotina, the first 2 runs have been great. She was brilliant in the Premiere when being held up. She's honest. The draw doesn't bother me as well. And in a race where I've got question marks on the Giga Kicks, on the Private Eyes, and these type of horses, which one's going to show up? Are the younger horses going to do it? I just know what I'm going to get with her. She's going to be there. She'll make her own luck. She'll be tough to the line. It doesn't matter what happens, what interference comes. She's going to give you an honest showing, so she'll be my value bet for the race.
Shane?
Yeah, Adam and I see it similarly with I Wish I Win being my best going into the Everest. I think the price is terrific for him. I like the fact he's actually drawn out wide. Luke Nolan back in the saddle. His 3 runs over the 1,200 metres at Randwick have been sensational with, a narrow defeat at Everest, a narrow defeat in the TJ Smith, and of course a previous win in the TJ Smith. He's had that jump out at Sportsbet Pakenham, I think it was, back in the 13th of August. He then ran really well in the Moya, followed up with an even better run in the Manikato. So fitness-wise, he's going to be at peak levels for a huge run. And I just think the way that the race unfolds suits him to a T. He's just going to be so strong late in the piece. And around that sort of, $5.50, $6.50 mark, we still get that over the next 24 hours or so. I think he's a terrific each-way bet. So I'm really keen on I Wish I Win. Here's my best. My value bet, Matty and Adam, I'm actually going with the 3-year-old Storm Boy. I'm not losing faith on him yet. I thought he ran really well in the Golden Rose after setting a really strong tempo with just, broadsiding Traffic Ward and Mayfair finishing over the top of him late in the piece. His run in the Run to the Rose, the start before, he went pretty strong all the way through there. They ran time and he was brave. And of course, he was terrific winning the San Domenico first up. He's rock hard fit. He's going to be bang on speed and he's going to take a lot of running down. So I'm happy to side with him still as the value bet because I think at around that sort of $12, $13 mark, Storm Boy, he is still overs to my eye. But I Wish I Win my best. Storm Boy, the value, looks a terrific race, the Everest.
Oh, it's going to be a cracking edition. I've gone for a little bit of value both ways here. Steffi Magnetica was really good first up for mine. I reckon it's just an open race and got some good second up stats. So at about that $14 mark, happy to play each way. And the other horse, I cannot let Giga Kick go around at this ridiculous price. I've had something on. I actually reckon the run last start still had some merit in it. I know there was a few people disappointed, but I reckon it wasn't too bad. So yeah, I'm going to leave Giga Kick in the market there as well, and look for his second Everest, which I think would be an enormous story for Clayton Douglas. Let's move along now to the Caulfield Cup. Really open race. This one over the 2,400 metres. It is a cracking race and one that they come far and wide for. Lindsay Smith, interestingly, boys, I asked him one day what's the race he'd most like to win. Expect to say Cox Plate, Melbourne Cup, all that stuff. Caulfield Cup is the race. He reckons it's a true staying test over the distance, the cherry ripe distance of that 2,400 metres. So the Palmerbet market has Buckaroo as our favourite, $4.20. Zardozi at $6.50. Elias at $7.50. Land Legend $9 to 9 Knowledge at $11. Warmonger $14. C80 Saturday T. I don't know whether I've got that right. I don't think I have. That is an absolute cracking name at $16. Strict Assessor at $18. Shano, I'm coming back to you, mate. Open race, is it? Or are you sticking at the top of the market with your selections here? What do you think?
I love this race. I think I've said plenty of times on this show in the last few years, the Caulfield Cup is up there. If it's not my favourite race, it's in my top two or three each and every year anywhere around the world. I love it. It's usually run at a strong tempo, handicap, so every runner sort of get their chance. And I'm looking at this as a terrific contest here this weekend, and I'm very, very keen on number 2 Buckaroo as my best bet in the race. Joe Moreira riding for Chris Waller. His form through the campaign has been outstanding. From the Wink Stakes, where he ran really well just behind the place getters first up. He then went to the Chelmsford for a narrow but really strong win. Progressed to the Underwood. He was dominant that day. And then his Turnbull Stakes run last time out from off the pace to go down narrowly to Via Sistina was simply outstanding. Now, he's only run at 2,400 metres previously, was in the Tancred during the Sydney Autumn Carnival, and he finished that race off really, really strongly, despite finishing, behind the place getters on that occasion. Look, I like him a lot. I think the fact he's been, lumping around with the 59 kilos on his back through those weight for age races and then 58 in the Turnbull and the set weights and penalties, a big weight drop down to 54.5 kilos. He's got tactical versatility. He's in form. I'm just very, very keen. He's going to run an enormous race. If he doesn't win, I think he's the one to beat. So Buckaroo, very keen on him. He's my best. Value bets, I'm having 2 bets in the race for value. Matty, I'm having something on the Japanese Galloper Warp Speed. I don't mind the fact he's actually drawn out wide. His form in Japan in those very traditionally strong staying races has been very good, particularly at 2,400 metres. 3 of his 4 career wins have been over the trip. He will just keep coming. He will be strong late in the piece and down in 54.5 kilos on his back. I think he's a big value bet at around that sort of $25 plus mark. And the other one is the one that you may have struggled pronouncing, Sayadati Sadati. This 3-year-old by Northern Hemisphere time, his form through the European season has actually been very good. He ran really well in the Derby, and then of course he ran to the Gordon Stakes during Glorious Goodwood, and he boxed on quite well in a race that was fairly tactical from the inside barrier. He's got a lot of class, this horse. I think he's just going to be bang on speed throughout and be very, very hard to beat. So Caulfield Cup, my best Buckaroo, 2 value bets, Warp Speed and Sayadati Sadati, but fantastic race coming our way.
Geez, I tell you what, mate, you just rolled that off your tongue. Matt Hill, he'll be coming for a little bit of prep work before Saturday, I reckon. What are your thoughts, Ads?
Well, Matty, are you surprised that he can say that? He's traveling every country. He's probably fluent in 6 languages. The guy's never, ever home, so he's probably forgetting English and picking everything else up. So I'm not surprised at all. Look, I don't love this race like Shane loves it, but I love it because of the value here. And I think it's a weak edition, but I love the prices here. And I'll talk about the first one. My best bet's going to be Warmonger at $14. Now, the reason I'm going this way, now, no doubt Buckaroo has the best form in the race. That is not questionable, but hasn't won further than 1,800 metres. I don't want to take $4.40 about a horse that has to win that little bit further. I've got question marks on Zardozi and Land Legend, who are on the second line of betting. We've talked about the Met drop in the form there. I think Elias is tough and good, but I'm not going to take it at that quote either. So I'm happy to go that value. Winner in the Queensland Derby by 10 lengths over the same distance. Ran the fastest last 200 in the Mackay first up. Now, you have to put a line through last start. If you're going to be backing that horse, you have to forgive what happened last start, and I'm willing to do so. So drops to 53.5 kilos. Mickey D goes in the saddle. For mine, that's what I'm going to do. And now hold your hats. I know I said I've been moving boxes, but I promise I've done the form. My value bet is going to be Valiant King. And with our good friends at Palmer Bet, you can get $91 the win and $20 the place. Now, hear me out. I'm pretty happy with this. I've had a bet. I'm already on. This horse finished 6th in this race last year. Should have been closer. Had some forgive runs. Now, the first up run, disgusting. 16 out of 16. There's just no way to sugarcoat this. The second up run, you take a look and you go 10 out of 16 in the Turnbull. Not great. However, ran the second fast 10 to 8, ran the fourth fastest 8 to 6, then held up, then runs the third fastest last 200 behind Via Sistina and Buckaroo. $4.40, $91. I'm going to go this horse all day. I'm going to hope that we get a little bit of value there. So that'll be my value pick for it. I'm more cheering Valiant King even to run top 3 than Warmonger, but I'm hoping for a little bit of excitement in the race.
Geez, that is huge, Shane. It's a $91 value runner. If this gets up, mate, they'll have a statue out the front of Palmerbet offices in Sydney.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and Adam will make it himself probably because he's supremely confident about this outside of Valley King, which I love. It's good when you can find a horse at a big price that you can make a strong case for, and all credit to you, Adam. You've just done that. You've swayed me to probably have something on him each way as well. But yeah, good luck. It's a big shout.
I'm putting the hand up to him, having something on the big price. Hey, I'm with you with Warmonger, mate, for everything you said. I reckon this horse, it gets out of the 2,400. Could not have been any more impressive in Queensland. So yeah, I'm happy to play around that 13 or 14 bucks with Warmonger on top. And I've put Warp Speed as my value as well, Shane. I love the Japanese stays when they come out here. They've had a good strike rate and they've had some success. And Tricky Gate got the visitors draw, but I reckon we'll run a big race too at a nice price. Let's move along to King Charles the second stakes. I hope I've got that right. I think it's the third on the running sheet, but I think it's King Charles the second stakes. Randwick race 9 over 1,600 metres this Saturday. Pride of Jetty's the favourite, all thanks to Palmer Bet at $2.10. Fangirl at $4. Seo Wolf been impressive last couple of victories at $8. Celestial Legend $13. My Oberon $17. Tommy Kitten 18. Amelia's Jewel at $18. Pericles at 26 and Zugotcha at $34. I'll come back to you for this one, Ads. Pride of Jetty, 210. Do we take it and run?
Yeah, look, I'm going to put her on top. I'm not going to take it and run because I'm very, 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 very scared of Fangirl. But she will go on top for mine. Back after that first up run, good in the Mackay, brilliant in the Fian. The form has been franked with Antino last week, so we get some positives there. She's got the class, and the one thing that I'm just going to back her in compared to Fangirl is that normally a lot of these horses do get that carry up and the donkey work done by Mr. Brightside. Someone else is going to have to do that in the race. She's going to be out in front saying, catch me if you can. And I don't know who is tough enough to bring them up and bring them into it. We know how good Mr. Brightside is at doing that over the mile. So I just think she may be able to skip away enough and hold on very narrowly over the closing stages. My value bet's going to be my Oberon. Again, I'm surprised by the price here. You're getting $17 to $20 with Palmer Bet. Third in this race last year, beaten 2.8 by Fangirl, then beaten 0.5 by Fangirl 2 starts back, and Fangirl $3.50 to $4 with Palmer Bet, and my Oberon $17 to $20. So off the track last start, had excuses. Look, the horse doesn't win very much and hasn't won for 828 days. But again, for a value bet, I think there's some reasons to include it.
Shane Oak?
Yeah, I'm shying away from Pride of Jenny. I think
I sense there's not a lot of confidence here for both you boys here, is there?
No, look, it's a great race. She's a star mare. I'm not knocking her, just where she is at the price point for when we're recording the show. I'm just not interested in her.
Do you have it between the two, Shane? Are you like, I'm umming because I'm scared of Fangirl? Are you scared of Pride of Jenny, or are you just...
I actually think there's quite a few chances in this race. If Pride of Jenny goes hard and the track is racing, I think we're expecting a track around that sort of slow 5 range. Usually Randwick in that range, every runner in every race kind of gets their chance, just sort of off some historical elements. I'm thinking she's going to go fast and set up a really strong speed. There's a lot of horses that have been programmed specifically for this race. And with Pride of Jenny, we're still probably expecting her to bounce into Moonee Valley in a week's time for the Cox Plate. So I'm just trying to work out where she is fitness wise, where she is program wise, and all of those sort of things. So when I sort of marry up, her last start win at the Valley was utterly dominant. She beat Mr. Brightside. Antino was a very good third in that race. He come out and won the Toorak. So the form around her, rock solid strong. But am I entertained with her at even money? I'm not. I think at the price, Fangirl, on an identical preparation to what she had last year when winning the King Chuck, was she to me is representing a little bit more value. Proud to say I'm a Republican outside of the 5 days of the year. I might get invited to Ascot and put on the top hat. But look, Fangirl for me at the price, $3.50 to $4, that sort of price range. I'm excited by that more than I am even Money Pride of Jenny. But for the Pride of Jenny fans out there, and there's a lot of them, including on this show, she's going to run enormously well. I think I just don't want to back her at that price. So Fangirl for mine. And to my point earlier, Adam, I actually think there's a lot of depth in this race. I think the value runners are Celestial Legend, back up to 1,600 metres with the gear change. I think he is ready to do something big. Of course, he won a Randwick Guineas and a Doncaster at his last 2 goes over the course and distance. I like his soft trial at Randwick on the 8th of October. I think he's the value bet. Currently sort of getting that sort of $12 mark with him. And the other one is your old favourite Amelia's Jewel. I think she's still overs too. Her price is sort of really blown out. And her runs this campaign in the Golden Pendant and the Tramway, when giving away lumps of weight, have been fairly strong. And I think she's ready to strike. She's also come through that recent trial at Randwick ahead of the Everest with the likes of Lady of Camelot and Private Eye and others in that race. So they're the ones at the value that attract me. So looking forward to the race. Should be a ripper, but I'm happy with Fangirl as my best, and my value bets the other two I just mentioned there in Celestial Legend and Amelia's Jewel.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the champ, Pride of Jenny, to get the job done and to march onto a Cox Plate. It'd be very hard to beat in that too. It was super impressive last start, and the form around that race with Antino coming out and franking it last week, that's good enough for me. I'm with you with Celestial Legend, 2 at a price, third up, I reckon ready to show something. So $13 is a nice price. Let's have a look at the Kosciuszko race 5 over the 1,200 metres. Front page is the favourite at 235. Far Too Easy at 650, Boom Talk 750, Gallant Star at $11, Compelling Truth $12, Bandy's Boy 16, Tribeca Star 18, At Wits End and Tanglewood both at $21. Shane, I'll come back with you. I'm actually really keen on one here, but I'll be interested to get both your boys' thoughts here. Shane, I'll start with you, mate.
Yeah, I'm happy to make my best in the race front page who resumes. James McDonald in the saddle. Drawn quite well in barrier number 5 for trainer Matty Dale. Look, I think his price is right at around that sort of, 230, 240, 250 mark. Last time we saw him, he ran in the Victory Stakes where he wasn't too far behind Antino in what was a pretty strong renewal of the race. He's looked in pretty good nick, though, reports in all of his, lead up work, including a trial at Rose Hill on the 4th of October when narrowly touched off by Overpass. So I think front page from a good barrier, James McDonald in the saddle will get every chance to win. I've got him as my best. My value bet is Boom Talk, Nashra Willer in the saddle off a good draw down in barrier number 2. He's off to freshen up. We saw him run really well in the Theo Mark Stakes last start behind NCAP and Bases Loaded. He was a strong winner at Doomben the run prior. And yeah, he had a nice hit out at Deegan on the trial back on, when was it? I think it was the 1st of October. Just checking my notes. So he's going to be thereabouts. He's fresh into this race, drawn well at the price. I think he's a value runner. But front page for me, the best. Boom Talk, the value for the Kosciuszko.
What do you reckon for the Kosciuszko ads?
Exact same too for me. I'll be quick since they are the same. Yeah, front page best bet, first up record exceptional, track record exceptional. Like that it's lightly raced. Bit of an overpass about this horse. The way they've targeted the winner bottom, lightly raced gelding. They know what they're going to do, so it'll be very hard to run down. My value bet, I almost went for Far Too Easy. Of course, a horse that Chris Caserta rode and had a very big affiliation with. There was an article about him today, of course, in racing, and his dad reached out to let us know about that. I know you boys had a bit of time and work with Chris Caserta as well, so good to see his memory going on. I'd love to see this horse get up for him, but I couldn't go with my heart. I had to go with my mind, and Boom Talk was the value pick there. 7 from 15, held up in the Theo Marks, should run on pretty strongly.
Hey, I'm going with far too easy. I reckon this horse is an absolute great bet at $6.50. Got 3 from 5 second up, was good first up. Likes racing at Ramwick. If we do get some rain, it's in the soft range. He's 4 from 5. Ticks a heap of boxes. I reckon going to be very, very hard to beat and happy to play. And happy to play early, to be honest, because I don't reckon he'll be that price come Saturday. So he'll get the job done, I reckon. And I have to chuck something in as a bit of value. I've chucked in Tribeca Star. I reckon been some good early money and early support for this horse. So there's always a good sign and got the services of Blake Shin. Hey, let's move along to the Silver Eagle race 8 over the 1300. Komochi's a favourite at 460. Ostraka at 650. V8 $7. War Machine at $8. Port Lockroyd 950. Stretton Angel 950. Skybird 950. Moravia at $11. And bases loaded $16. Ads, we'll come back to you for the Silver Eagle, buddy.
I'm going to go with Komochi. Third in the Coolmore last preparation. Group 3 winner first up. Fourth in the Manikato. Drops in weight. Great record at the track. 8 starts, 2 wins, 5 top 3 finishes. It never won more than 1,200, but I'm not concerned about that at all. So Komochi goes on top for me. And my value bet, one that I know we've all liked. I'm going to forgive V8 run first up run. I'll just go back to back, and this horse is a very good type. Winner second up previously, only beaten 1.3 when racing second up last preparation in the Group 1 CF4 behind Mr. Brightside. J-Mac in the saddle. The McAvoys, I think, will figure out what went wrong, and V8 will bounce back, but Komochi on top is my best bet.
Ads Shane.
It's okay. The Silver Eagle, I'm going with V8 as my best. I think I'm happy to forgive that first up run in the Manikato. I know it was interesting. Damien Lane, after the race, actually was quite bullish still about how well the horse went. I know on face value, it looks like, yeah, he's towards the tail of the field in that Group 1 sprint. He was beaten 5 lengths. He just really couldn't get into it. But he was still sticking to the task over the concluding stages and through the line. You know, you want to see a horse like him still show a bit of zest, and I thought we saw that. He's had a little freshen up now of 3 weeks going into this race. He's drawn out wide. There's a bit of speed around him. I just can see him getting a lovely run and being hard to beat. On his best form, he is the best form in this race by a considerable margin. So V8 is my best bet, and my value bet is bases loaded. Similar scenario. Go back 2 starts ago, I thought his run in the Theo Marks was very, very good, narrowly touched off by NCAP. And then he went to the Shannon last start up to 1,500 metres. Looked a little bit disappointing at first review of the race from a whitish barrier. But, you know, I think now with an ease back to 1,300 metres, he's probably going to be ready to strike again. So at that sort of $19, $20, $21 mark for basis loaded, I think he's a great each-way value bet. But, yeah, V8 I think will win, but I'm interested in basis loaded at the price.
I'm settling on War Machine. I thought this horse was good behind Barrack Wheel at Moonee Valley on Manikato Stakes. Nice night. And I reckon Declan Bates going to be in for a really big day. And my value bet is France Joseph from the Ryan Yard. This horse got some good first up stats at a massive and ridiculous price. That is my play there. Boys, quickly, where are our other plays around the country? I'll come back to you, Shona. Anything else you like? It's a big day, Ramwick and Caulfield, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm going to the Tristarc Stakes at Caulfield. I think Quintessa gets her chance to strike back into form. Didn't handle the heavy at Flemington in the Let's Elope Stakes. A terrific winner the start prior. I'm happy to be on her each way. I can't believe her price. I thought she'd be a lot shorter than the price she is at around that sort of $9, $10, $11 mark. So Quintessa for me, great each way chance in the Tristarc.
Ads, what are your thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, I'm keeping the each way going. Race 4, Date with the Devil. Nice $15 chance at the moment. Held up last time. Clint Johnson Porter for Grant Alana Williams. I think it'll run a very nice race.
That's it. Billy's just a couple of shorties. I like it. Well, I'm going to Caulfield. Race 4, number 1. 2 Darn Discreet. This horse has put a couple of nice wins together for Dan O'Sullivan. About $3.40, $3.30 at the moment. So I reckon going to be very hard to beat again. And Ramwick, race 4, number 4, Quickster from the Moody Coleman Yard. J. Carr in the saddle. Nice run first up. Been well supported early market's always a good sign. What are we going to put the Palmerbet Punters Club hard-earned on, boys? What's our Monty? I wish I win to place.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
I
think
happy with that. We might get about $1.90, $2 or something, wouldn't we? We're going to get
perfect.
something like that. Righto, let's do that for the Palmerbet Punters Club this week. Download the Palmerbet app, get involved and get your Punters Club happening. And as we always say, gamble responsibly and always think about what you're really gambling with. Shano, you enjoy Spain, mate. Great to see you as always and have a great weekend.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
And Ads, you enjoy the new pad over there in Las Vegas, mate.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good luck on the weekend.
Great stuff. We'll see you next week. As I said, download that Palmerbet app and get involved. Going to be a huge weekend of racing.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.